I give it all to you.
When I was 6, many hands touched me. Some to bathe me, some to clothe me, some to feed me, some to guide me, some to cuddle me. There were many hands. When I was 6, a hand touched me that was negative to the positive feel of a touch. It carried me up, not to throw me in the air to catch me, not to hold me up to bathe me, not to feed me, not to guide me, not to cuddle me, not to stop me from crying. It touched me in a way that was negative to the positive feel of a touch. And I was 6. See, I remember this touch because it was coarse and hard. This caused to be bad, a loss to bombard, a force to guard. I was 6. With Humpty Dumpty and Little Red Riding Hood as friends. My panties were in thongs, my breasts never kissed brass, my hips had no width, my butt didn't have flesh. I was 6 when he touched me. See, I remember the clothes I wore. I can draw the patterns in the dress he tore, the undies that made him bore. I was too young to be thought a whore. I had never known tragedy before. I screamed to his ignore. I cried my eyes to sore. Yet he wanted to explore the treasure he couldn't restore. My fears ran to its core. My body of bones too frail to implore. I was 6 when his touch hurt me without cure. Then when I was 6 years younger than 20, I met one too many friends who knew the touch I knew, because a hand like the hand that had touched me, the negative to the positive feel of a touch had held them. I recognized the few I knew. I saw the mistrust I owned. I noticed the hatred I carried. We were a tribe to a shared experience. We were a family to an emotional tragedy. We were kinsmen to a culture betrayed. You see, I tried a few things to forget. Pretending to be tending a tenderly emotional heart, pretending crying every night was normal, pretending mistrusting everyone was safe, pretending the nightmares weren't scary, pretending the hatred for the action that caused the hatred for the person to cause the hatred for me was hatred worthwhile. But I couldn't pretend I had selective amnesia. Tried as I might, this wasn't an attempt by my mind to shield itself from the anxiety caused by an unresolved conflict upon encountering a situation that may be symbolic of this inner conflict, and so goes into a form of trance to avoid experiencing this conflict. There were way too many conflicts in my mind to fully commit to pretend. So I took a gamble with hatred to choose one pretense. That's pretending the hatred for the action that caused the hatred for the person to cause the hatred for me was hatred worthwhile. I was so drenched in unforgiven peril, I traded the glee and excitement of childhood to tears and fears, the dread of being haunted by nightmares of hands raking my virtue, leading my innocence for the slaughter. And did I say I was 6? I was 6 years younger than 20. But I got me fooled. It didn't take me long to realize that anger, pain, fear, bitterness, they partied in the same club. And when you let one through the door, the rest gate crashed their way past the bouncers. See, I wanted to part ways, but parting to stay apart from the part I've lived all those years so proud of was like trying to get free from a rope hoisted round your ankles, dangling you upside down. But it's hard to see clearly when you're up, sided down. I was one mistake away from being saved. I was passing anger from one scarred hand to another like a hand acrobat in a show. I peppered and salted the pain so bad it almost tasted good. See, I was nursing a decayed head, covering it up with all kinds of stuff to make it any less messy. Truth is, that was like curing a cough with Imodium or HIV with aspirin. But see, bitterness held too long changes the hue of the pain caused. But you know bitterness, it's that kind of moochy friend that dictates your every emotion, right or wrong, and won't let you go even when you're desperate to leave. And so that was the case till I was 6 years older than 10. By then, few hands touched me, only to shake me or perhaps pat me, maybe to steal a hug or hit a fist. There were few hands. And so I remember one that was positive to the positive feel of a touch. He lifted me up, not to bathe me, not even to cuddle. He wouldn't throw me on a bed, even though I wore bras and thongs now. My hips are now swollen and my butt have flesh, but he wanted none of it. He wouldn't touch my skin, he didn't tear my clothes, but yet he touched me. See, he knew I had hurt. His words weren't flirts. He never spoke with a curt. Didn't care I wasn't a pert. He touched me. It was a touch that was positive to the positive feel of a touch. He wrestled my fears to flee, entered the unspeakable crevices of my heart, bargained to forgive as he forgives, righteous insanity of letting go of a person's sin 77 times. But see, it's pointless to fight the landlord over his house when all you have is a tenancy agreement. It was clear when he said to forgive, for there's never a pain so painful and never a hurt so hurtful that it can't heal, never a sin so sinful that it can't be forgiven, never an abuse so dire and grave that its memories he can't lose, never a molestation, neglect, disappointment, or an experience so gory that from it he can't take glory. When I was 6, hands touched me, to bathe me, to clothe me, to feed me, to guide me, to cuddle me. There were many, many hands. But there's a hand that touched me that was positive to the positive feel of a touch. The Lord touched me, all, and since he did, I've been made whole. Has he touched you?
Take my heart, Lord, and let it be your throne.